strap on your boots of diminishing shock, all you jarls and lasses, cause we're talking Skyrim. Hello, Internet. Welcome to Game Theory, the unrelenting shout of video game education. I just foos rode and he dawed. You know, I used to be a gamer like you, but then I took a bi-weekly gaming vlog on and just don't have as much time anymore. But that's not to say that I missed out on gaming's hottest meme since Do a Barrel Roll, which for all you newcomers to the show, I disproved 2 episodes ago. Shameless promotion for the win! Anyway, it should come as no surprise that we're talking about this.
I used to be an adventurer like you, and I took an arrow in the knee. 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 The knee.
Skyrim's #1 epidemic isn't vampirism or rampant stone flesh. It's roadside bandits taking potshots at Patelle. Which got me wondering, would an arrow to the knee really be such a severe injury? And more importantly, what could possibly explain so many adventurers suffering from such an odd attack? Dear viewer, prepare to be rocked, because researching these innocent questions led me to unearth a conspiracy sweeping across Tamriel. Today, we'll not only expose the Tanya Harding of Skyrim, but we'll finally close the book on this overused meme. First, the ground rules. Skyrim's world is clearly based on Viking society. And no, I'm not just saying this because the characters run around in horned helmets. There's plenty of evidence to support this, but here are just 2 very clear examples. In the game, each of the 9 holds are governed by a jarl who swears his fealty to the High King. Real Viking society also had jarls, aristocratic men who oversaw huge estates, leased their land to tenants, and held slightly less wealth than the monarch. So really a direct comparison. Same thing with thralls. You know how you can summon a thrall to do your bidding in Skyrim? Thralls in Viking times were the lowest rungs in society, consisting of slaves belonging to a master. So good on you, Bethesda. A+ research. Except for the horned hat thing. You see, Vikings never actually wore helmets with horns or wings. This actually originated in the Bronze Age, anywhere between 3300 and 1200 BC. The Viking Age is dated at 800 to 1100 AD. A 2 millennia difference, missed it by that much. Anyway, if a Viking really were to get an arrow in the knee, what could they expect? Well, the knee is what's known as a hinge joint, allowing movement in only one direction. It's also the largest joint in the body, and the one that tends to be the most frequently injured. Just ask Willis McGahee, Dante Culpepper, and Donovan McNabb. Wait, sorry, we're talking about Skyrim. Sports references don't apply here.
I don't know who they are either, I was just trying to be topical.
In short, there have been 2 bows found in Viking burial sites, both longbows over 6 feet long. Estimations indicate that the draw weight of these bows, or the amount of effort it would take to draw an arrow, would be 100 pounds. English longbows of similar size from this era reportedly had enough power to fully penetrate through an attacker's armor, leg, saddle, and even reach the horse underneath. Which means, for our adventurer, a severed quadricep tendon if slightly above the knee, a ruined patellar tendon if directly below the knee, and most definitely a shattered kneecap if the arrow actually went in the knee. Skyrim's arrows are like Nerf darts compared to the real-world weaponry. But what about recovery? Today, most knee damage can be fixed with surgery, but what would Skyrim's denizens have at their disposal? Viking medicine was crude. These were people who believed in runes, curses, and magical healing, with only a rudimentary understanding of medicinal herbs. Now call me a pessimist, but I'm sorry. No amount of chanting or blister wart is gonna help when your leg looks like this. And that's only if the arrow didn't have a barbed tip. Those suckers couldn't be pulled out and instead were quote-unquote treated by pushing the tip through the rest of the warrior's body until it came out on the other side. If there was a bone in the way, I don't know, say a shoulder blade, it was shattered to make room. Wounds were then either sewn up or cauterized with a scalding hot piece of metal. It's a miracle Skyrim's guards can walk, let alone talk about their injury without experiencing some symptoms of PTSD. Skeletons from this time period period do show some evidence of broken bones being set and healing properly, but once the patella is broken, it needs to be reassembled using metal pins or removed entirely. Viking doctors had only the simplest understanding of surgery, so removing the bones and hoping that the tendons grew correctly was their only option. Today, with modern medicine, it takes anywhere between 6 months and a year for a knee injury to fully recover. In Skyrim, a full recovery would be impossible. I'm surprised to say this, but the guards are telling the truth. An arrow in the knee, in their day and age, would absolutely prevent them from traversing the countryside as an adventurer, especially when a huge ice-covered mountain blocks your path, like it does for every single quest. But I digress. So what? I hear the skepticism dripping from your comments. An arrow to the knee hurts. What have we learned? Well, a lot, actually. I'm kinda hurt that you asked. But what we've covered so far is about to help us uncover the biggest mystery of all. Who is behind all this knee targeting? If watching marathons of Law & Order reruns on TNT has taught me anything, it's that a crime needs a motive. And I ask you, what benefit is there to letting a wounded adventurer live? Think about it. How many times have you attacked someone in Skyrim with the intention of letting them escape? Looting a dead body is a whole lot easier than pickpocketing a live one after all. And a guy with an arrow in the knee is just begging to die. He poses zero threat. All he could possibly do is hobble back to town and get healed. But maybe that's exactly what you want to happen. I present into evidence Chapter 185 of Frostething Law, the earliest set of Norwegian decrees which states that each fragment of bone removed from a wound incurs an extra payment, which gives us our motive. Let me put it all together. A hired hitman shoots an arrow in some adventurer's knee, but lets him live. The knee shatters into tiny bone fragments, but the victim is still able to make his way back into town to get healed. Since Viking Age medical practices can't repair a broken kneecap, the bone fragments must be removed. Coincidentally, the kneecap is one of the simplest bones to extract from the body, but for each fragment that comes out, the physician's bill gets higher and higher. In other words, there's gold in them thar knees. Which means that the group responsible for the knee busting can only be Skyrim's doctors. Ever wonder why there's no medics in Skyrim? It's because they all got rich off their knee extractions and moved to somewhere that's warmer than a witch's tit in winter. Say Somerset Island, leaving behind a generation of handicapped adventurers and a meme that got old a couple weeks before I got to this video. But hey, that's just a theory. A game theory. Thanks for watching.
I took an arrow to the knee. Used to cast spells, I used to raise hell. Used to use hair gel, I took an arrow to the knee. Used to be a pimp, took an arrow to the knee. Now I'm just a gimp, took an arrow to the knee. I used to fight crime, my face was on the dime. Used to love wind chimes, I took an arrow to the knee. Used to be a snake, took an arrow to the knee. Used to bake a cake, I took an arrow to the knee. I used to be saucy, like Fergie I was flossy. And my lips were super glossy, took an arrow to the knee. Used to be a girl, took an arrow to the knee. Had a belt made of squirrels, took an arrow to the knee. Was a world champ, had an awesome tramp stamp. And I used to love lamp, took an arrow to the knee.